He paid for her coffee when her card was declined, not knowing she was a millionaire CEO who'd been testing human kindness. The café was warm with the smell of roasted beans and quiet morning chatter, the kind of place where people came to escape life for a few minutes, and for Emma Hayes, that was exactly what she needed. She stood at the counter in a crisp white blouse, a leather bag resting on her shoulder, her expression calm but tired, the weight of responsibilities hidden behind her composed face. When the barista announced the total and she tapped her card, the small machine beeped red. Declined. A pause followed, uncomfortable and heavy. She tried again. Declined. A few people behind her shifted impatiently. The barista offered a polite smile that barely masked the awkwardness. Emma felt a familiar sting, not of embarrassment, but of disappointment. This wasn't about money. She had more than enough of it. She was the CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in the country, a self-made millionaire who had clawed her way up from nothing. But today wasn't about status. Today was part of something deeper. For weeks, Emma had been quietly stepping into ordinary places, dressing simply, leaving behind her driver, her assistants, her corporate armor, to understand something she felt she had lost along the way: people. Real people. Real kindness. Real humanity. She had seen too much greed in boardrooms, too much entitlement wrapped in expensive suits, and she had begun to wonder whether kindness still existed without a price tag. So when the card declined, on purpose, thanks to the daily spending limit she had set, she waited. She watched faces. Some people avoided eye contact. One woman sighed. A man checked his phone. No one spoke. The silence stretched until a deep, calm voice broke through it. "I've got it," the man said. Emma turned slightly. He was standing behind her, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a Navy security uniform, his posture relaxed but alert, like someone used to watching over others. His name tag read Daniel. He stepped forward and handed the barista his card without hesitation. "Add hers to mine," he said simply. Emma looked at him, surprised. "You don't have to," she said softly. He smiled, not flashy, not forced. "It's just coffee," he replied. "Happens to everyone." The barista completed the transaction, slid the cup across the counter, and the moment passed as quickly as it came. Or so Daniel thought. Emma took the cup, her fingers warm against the paper, her eyes studying him, not with judgment, but curiosity. "Thank you," she said. "I really appreciate it." Daniel shrugged. "No problem. Hope your day gets better." He turned to leave, heading back toward the cafe entrance where he was clearly on duty, protecting a place that probably didn't even know his name beyond a uniform schedule. Emma stood there for a moment longer, her heart heavier now, but not with shame. With emotion. Because what Daniel didn't know was that she had just watched dozens of people choose convenience over compassion, and one man choose kindness without knowing who she was or what she could give him in return. She took a seat near the window and observed him as he resumed his post, greeting customers, holding doors, standing quietly like a pillar no one noticed unless something went wrong. Emma's mind drifted back to her childhood. Single mother, eviction notices taped to doors, counting coins for groceries, the sting of humiliation when kindness was withheld because people assumed poverty was contagious. She remembered the men who looked away, the women who whispered, the systems that failed her. And she remembered the rare moments when someone helped, not because they had to, but because they chose to. Those moments had shaped her more than any business school ever could. That was why she built her company differently. Why she paid fair wages. Why she invested in people, not just profit. But even she had grown distant, insulated by success. This experiment, these quiet tests, were her way back to truth. When she finished her coffee, she didn't leave. Instead, she walked over to Daniel again. "Hey," she said gently. "Can I ask you something?" He nodded. "Sure. Why did you help me?" He looked genuinely confused. "Like I said, it's just coffee." "But you don't know me," she pressed. "Could have been a scam. Could have been anyone." Daniel chuckled lightly. "Yeah. Could have been. But I've been on the other side of that counter. And I know what it feels like when people pretend they don't see you." That answer landed hard. Emma swallowed. "What do you do when you're not working?" she asked. "This is pretty much it," he said. "Security gigs. Pays the bills. Trying to save for my daughter's school." Emma nodded, committing every word to memory. "You're a good man, Daniel." He smiled politely, clearly uncomfortable with praise. "Just doing my best." She left after that, but not without one last look back. That night, in her penthouse office overlooking the city, Emma couldn't stop thinking about him. About how easily kindness had come to him. About how quietly he carried responsibility without complaint. And she made a decision. The next morning, Daniel was called into the cafe manager's office unexpectedly. He assumed it was about scheduling or a routine check. Instead, a woman in a tailored suit stood up and smiled at him. It took him a second to recognize her, the woman from the coffee line. "Good morning, Daniel," she said. "My name is Emma Hayes." The manager's eyes widened. "As in Haystech?" Emma nodded. Daniel froze. "Wait, you're the same person whose card was declined," she finished gently. "That part was intentional." His face flushed. I didn't, you did nothing wrong," she interrupted. "You did something rare." She explained everything then, the experiment, her purpose, her search for kindness without conditions. Daniel listened, stunned. "I didn't help you because of any test," he said quietly. "I helped because it felt right." Emma smiled. "Exactly." She offered him a folder. Inside was an offer, not just a job, but a scholarship for his daughter, full benefits, a role in her company's community outreach program, and a salary that would change his life. Daniel's hands trembled. "Why me?" he asked. Emma met his eyes. "Because the world doesn't just need smart CEOs. It needs people like you in positions of influence." Tears welled up in his eyes, not because of the money, but because someone finally saw him. As the story spread, people argued online about whether kindness should be rewarded. Emma ignored the noise. She knew the truth. Kindness didn't need a reward, but it deserved recognition. And to everyone listening to this story right now, remember this: you never know who you're helping, and more importantly, you never know who you're becoming in the moment you choose kindness. If this story touched your heart, inspired you, or reminded you that goodness still exists in the world, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more real, powerful stories that restore faith in humanity, because sometimes, one small act can change two lives forever.